Good morning, friends. This is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to share your daily aspects. Today is January 13, 2022. The sun is in Capricorn right now, as are Venus and Pluto, our planets for receptiveness and transformation. And I want to encourage you as we head into our final week in Sun Capricorn to think about those Sun Capricorns that you know. Likely, if you know a Sun Capricorn, you know somebody who uh, takes their responsibilities very seriously, likes to do things the way they know it will work to do them, and, is always willing to do the work that is involved. Capricorns put on a very responsible face, but one thing that, it's interesting to know about the Capricorn is that symbol for the Capricorn, that goat, is actually a sea goat. It's a goat on the top and it's sort of a fish on the bottom. So we're talking about a really watery personality on the inside. Capricorn is an earth sign. But once you get to know a Capricorn sun pretty well, you realize that they actually have a really lively emotional life and a big heart. So, as Capricorns age, they come out of this, not necessarily stop being responsible, but they come out of this desire just to work hard to get at things. And they start to become a little more emotionally engaged and playful and desiring of fun in their lives. And I'm not asking you to reflect on this just for the sake of your Capricorn friends, but these are the effects that the Capricorn sun has in our life when we're under its effect. So uh, as we come into this last week of Capricorn, starting tomorrow, we'll be in the last 7 days of the sun Capricorn. We may feel a shift, a lightening up of this desire to necessarily just put our sweat of the brow work in and be starting to look around for a reason to celebrate. And the moon today is in Gemini, so it's come out of Taurus. We're not in that double earth vibe anymore. And this is another sign that we're lightening up a little bit. The Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so in our hearts and homes, we are feeling more communicative, more creative. Our thought process speeds up. We're also just more genuinely playful and interested in collaborating. And the waxing crescent phase of this moon is inviting us still to continue focusing our energy, our drive, our passion, and our resources and our work toward the culmination of some goal that we set for ourselves so that we have something to appreciate and celebrate this coming Monday with the moon in Cancer, the full moon in Cancer. Okay, let's go over the planets that are on the legend really quick so we have an idea what sort of energies we're working with today, and then we'll get into some further interpretation. As ever, at the top of the list, we have the sun. The sun represents the outer life. This is who you are when you step out the door, the person that people first get to know when they meet you, and also how you engage in your work world, your social and civic worlds. After the sun comes the moon, and the moon is your inner life. This is your relationship with yourself, your emotions and intuitions, what you think, what you feel and know, and also how you are engaged in your home space or your domestic world with the people that are there with you. Jupiter is on the page today, and Jupiter represents positive expansion, growth, and good fortune. Mercury is about your personal intellect, especially the day-to-day thoughts, plans, and communications that you make and the running around that you do. Saturn relates to those structures and networks that we rely on for support and our responsibility to maintain them. Venus is all about love and money, or how do you relate to those people and things that you like, love, and can't get enough of? Whereas Mars is about your personal sense of initiative, whatever it is that fires you up and drives you forward. And Neptune asks about your relationship to the human collective on the community level, the neighborhood level, but also on the national and world level. We'll talk about the rest of these energies as they come up. Let's go ahead and get into these aspects. I have divided the page into 2 columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon sheds light on our inner life, our emotional and domestic sphere. And the moon moves really quickly, so it creates lots of brief aspects that have more of an impact on how we're feeling and what our emotions are. The sun, on the other hand, sheds light on our outer lives, who we are out in the world. And I address the rest of the planets and their aspects on this side because those aspects take longer and they have more to do with how we're behaving in our outer life. We start with the moon today. Central Standard Time, friends, at 3:24 a.m. The moon makes a square with Jupiter. So moon in aspect with Jupiter is usually a good time. It's a time to feel generous, to appreciate the way our life is going and the way that things are expanding, the good fortune that we have enjoyed. And generally it's a celebratory mood. When we have this square come in, definitely we still are in sort of celebratory mood. The warning here is not to overindulge in those things that we use to celebrate, and also not to enable others to overindulge. So, good vibes. Feeling lucky and generous. Try not to overindulge. Too much candy just going to drag you down later in the day, right? And then and I realize that that's sort of a middle of the night, very early morning aspect. So possibly you just sort of wake up feeling good. And, that's positive too. You can bring that out into the day with you. Later today in the evening at 6:10 p.m., the moon makes a trine with Mercury. So this is your emotional self, your inner life in aspect with your intellect, your ability to communicate and plan. And with the trine aspect, then that's a really positive vibration. You're likely to experience some harmonious functioning in your communications if you reach out to somebody that you trust to have a conversation, tell them what's in your heart and on your mind. It's likely you'll encounter some synchronicity. Perhaps they were thinking about reaching out to you as well. So let's talk about our feelings with someone we trust and see the positive results. Even if it's just having felt good and knowing that, understanding that somebody else really knows how you feel and where you're coming from. And then very late, actually at 12:26 a.m. on Friday morning, the moon makes a trine aspect with Saturn. So moon in aspect with Saturn sort of brings out our feelings about the networks and structures that we rely on for support and our responsibility to them. And, like if you get a square or an oppositional aspect there, sometimes you feel very restricted. But at this time, it's like harmonic accord. We appreciate and love those structures that we rely on for support, and we are seeing the benefit of that support. Let's see. Seeing the benefit of structural support. And again, with trine aspect, that's very positive vibration. harmony, cooperation, and perhaps some synchronicity. Although, again, that is the middle of the night, so, sweet dreams to you. As for the sun side of the page, in the ongoing column, we have Venus retrograde through the 29th. We're going to make it, friends. It's coming up soon. So Venus retrograde has been about our commitments under review. Venus has been in Capricorn this whole time. So while Venus tends to relate to our romance and it also relates to our finance, and that brings us back to the work we do, the things that we do to earn money, to support ourselves. So, first of all, we're a little conservative with our hearts, with our love and our labor. We pull back. We don't want to give more than we're receiving, and we want to sort of maybe even put a little test on some of those committed relationships we've made, especially to the workspace, and make sure that we're getting out of it what we're putting into it, or not exactly what we're putting into it, but we're getting out of it what we need in exchange for what we're putting into it. So this withdrawal is a self-care practice, and the other self-care practices that we can do right now are like advocating for ourselves, and just making sure we feel good about what we're receiving for what we're expending. And also in the ongoing column, we have day 3 of 4 for Mars in a square relationship with Neptune. So this is our personal fire, our sense of initiative in a challenging relationship with the human collective in general. Sometimes when this happens, it's like, this is my little fire, and this is sort of like the water of everyone, the emotional the emotional feeling of the community. And so sometimes when we try to take initiative in the community, it doesn't work for us, and we get exposed to some part of our own behavior that isn't working, right? Like, oh, I tried that and it didn't go over so well. People were not receptive. So, this is not the time to get down on yourself if you tried to take some sort of initiative and it didn't work out for you immediately. We want to avoid the negative self-talk and ideation. And what we want to do, because Mars is about initiative, is like take in the information. Okay, this is what didn't work. And then move forward with that information, trying to make a shift in our own approach, so that, perhaps next time what we try will work. But also, if you are encountering challenges with your community, sometimes the thing to do is to back up a little bit. You're putting yourself out there and you're not getting a valuable return on the investment you're making. So it could be beneficial just to pull back for a couple of days and take care of ourselves and think about how we put ourselves forward in the world, so that the next time we're ready to try, we have a different and hopefully more workable idea. We have nothing new on the solar side of the page, and that is just fine with me. In the coming up column, tomorrow the moon will reach its apogee, that is its farthest point from the Earth in its orbit around the Earth. And this really represents, again, sort of a backing off of the emotions, a cooling down, or perhaps that, what's going on in our domestic life will just not appear as important to us as what's happening in our outer life. Also, tomorrow, Mercury goes retrograde. So right now it is stationing. If you could see it in the sky, it looks like it's going neither one way or the other. And tomorrow it will start appearing to go backward along its regular trajectory. That is an illusion. Retrograde is an illusion, but it's an illusion that can bring about some shakeups in our communication and our ability to plan. And we will have plenty of time to discuss that over the next 3 weeks during the Mercury retrograde. Mercury will go direct again about a week after Venus does. Coming up this Monday on the 17th, we have a full moon in Cancer, another funny little Cancer picture there that I made. I'm still going to have to work on how to draw that symbol very well. This is really an encouragement to, this will be an encouragement to celebrate the culmination of whatever achievements, goals that we set for ourselves, either short term or long term. Just to celebrate, appreciate what we have, what we've done, what we have achieved. Because you do have to occasionally take a break and just look back and go, okay, this is what I've done, and this is a positive thing. So that will be our opportunity. And the full moon in Cancer is just really, Cancer is ruled by the moon, so our celebration may be somewhat emotional and hopefully joyous for us, and it'll probably happen in and around the home or our loved ones. And we will discuss these things and more as they come up. That's it for today, friends. This has been your Daily Aspects, an astrological weather forecast for Thursday, January 13, 2022. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you showing up every day to see your aspects. And if you would, go ahead and like my video. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate that. Please leave a comment below if you want to, or if you have a question, or if you just want to reach out to me for any reason, it's okay to leave a comment down there. I do check my comments and I'll respond to them. Otherwise, that's it for today, friends, and I will see you all tomorrow for more Daily Aspects.